going, everyone? This is an interesting failed podcast interview. We are downtown Fort Worth at the Art Festival, and I am here with, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Dr. Valerie Gillespie, a pencil and paper gallery.
And she's showing some art here. All these walls are hers, and we're going to talk to her a little bit about her journey and what art means to her. So let's come over here. I like this view right here. Let me see right here. Okay, cool. Tell me a little bit about what you do and who you are whenever it comes to art.
Right. So one of the things that I love is just being a steward of artists and what they do at the gallery. I've worked with artists, their journey, their career, like Raphael, for example. Yeah. We've been together for, oh my gosh, almost 2-3 years now, just rocking and rolling, and it's been great to see his journey. One of the things that I love about Raphael is that he just keeps going. Yeah. He keeps going and he keeps doing it. And his whole heart and his whole being is in his work, and it shows, and he's consistent. And I think it's that consistency that sometimes I think can be a little tricky with art, because we got to pay our bills, right? We got to make money, and it doesn't always do that. But with him, I think that's one of the things that I'm drawn to.
It's a little loud here, people, so don't be distracted.
Yes.
Because the message is solid.
It's still, yes.
Here's what I want to hit you with. In life, growing up in like elementary and middle school, there's a big push for art.
There is.
And I know through my daughter and some of my family members, there's so many kids that say, I want to be an artist. And then they paint, and then they get to kind of experience this, like having art up on walls. But then there comes a point where that goes away from
it. Does, yeah.
What do you feel that the community can do to continue to instill wanting to do art in kids?
Right. And so that I'm an art educator of, oh my gosh, I'm going on my 20th year now. Mm-hmm. I see it all the time. Yeah. Kids love art all the way up until high school. And then it's like, oh, my parents want me to be a doctor. They want me to be a lawyer. My parents were like that. They were like that. So I get that. I think it's just more of a push to getting our community to see that art is all of these things, and you can be successful. And it's there's just so many, avenues to it. Yeah. I think it's that understanding.
But here's my thing. So they give it up as opposed to keeping it as like a therapy.
Right.
So because they have this idea in their head that either I'm going to make it or I'm not going to do it.
I know.
So what would you say to young people to encourage them to keep doing it and maybe forget about making the money part? Now it happens for some.
Right.
But what if it doesn't?
Right.
I think it's still
a reality.
For an individual.
Right.
What would you say about that?
I think there's a logic that goes with that too. You can do both. You can do more. You can still create, you can still produce, and have your side gig, have your side job.
Follow
me. Oh, I'm coming.
Follow me.
You can still do all of that. I'm very much, I understand what it's like to need to still pay your bills. Yeah. But I still think there's the beauty of that artist that is up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. creating after the 9 to 5. There's still things you can do while you pursue your dreams, while you keep going.
Now tell me this, dealing and working with a lot of artists, what are some of the challenges and failures that artists face and that you've seen them overcome to go to the next level, or you have seen where it's like, man, they should have just kept doing it for a few more years? Right.
Oh my gosh. So there's a couple of artists that I think about that they were on a roll, they were doing it, and then a couple of hard years come by and they stop and they don't go back. Yeah. I think about, again, Raphael and Elliman Gillespie. Through it all, they've kept going.
And I'll tag them on the description below. She said those two names. This is a different artist. We were over here a while ago with Emmanuel, and now we're here with Gillespie. Yeah. And very, very cool art. Is there any similarities between that person and that individual? That is her. I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah. The failure in art and becoming an artist.
Right. It is. And so with Emmanuel, one of the things about him, he teaches in addition to creating. And one of the things I want to do a little shout out, he recently stopped teaching and he is now a full-time artist and he is doing it and he is successful at it. And so that's been kind of cool too, to see that trajectory. He was consistent. one of the same things that has been in his path, he's always consistently creating. That's never stopped. Yeah. He's had a few different jobs along the way, but the art has never stopped.
Now, what are some of the challenges that you have faced and failures that you have overcome to get here where, you're busy, you're showing, you're putting shows up. I've seen you in New York, from Dallas, and now you're here in Fort Worth, along with many other things. It takes a lot of energy and drive.
It does.
So what have you learned from failure that's paying off today?
I know. For me, I think back to my early 30s. My artwork wasn't making money. I was knocking on the doors in Deep Ellum of different galleries in my late 20s. People weren't giving me shows. People weren't giving me a chance. And I had to stop. I stopped for a couple of years, and it was hard. But I noticed during those times when I stopped, I wasn't myself. And there was a part of me that just wasn't happy. And so I went back to it, and I just kept going. So I get that. I get the stopping and starting. It was hard. Moved back in with my parents.
People are hearing this, and they find there's so much shame in that. But you don't understand how many people it sets up. It gives you an opportunity to get refocused, and then put your resources to something to come out of it with something different. So how did you have to deal with the going back, but then blossoming after?
And so I just looked at things a little bit differently. How can I still support myself as an artist and sustain that passion and that need to create, but also pay my light bill? And so I shifted a little bit, started teaching, getting into education. That's always something that I've always loved. In addition, while creating, started collaborating with other artists. How are we working together? And that's a huge thing. You got to find your tribe. You got to find your people that are going to support you too, and you all work together and you grow together. And it's because of a handful of women here in Fort Worth and in Dallas that have supported me and helped me that I am what I'm doing today. So,
what would you tell a young person who is a great artist, but they're about to start hitting some realities? Their parents are going to say, focus on something else. What do you wish someone would have told you? You're obviously still doing art. You're very involved in art. But what would you say to a young person who maybe wants to be an artist and is getting a bit discouraged?
I know it sounds hard. You just got to keep going. Really, you just got to keep going, and you keep doing what feels right for you. It's hard when you have the influence of your parents or maybe mentors or other people that are telling you to do something else. And I wish 20 years ago, I wish I had just followed myself. I would have maybe gotten here sooner, but that's all I can offer. You already know inside. You know what that voice inside is saying. You got to listen. You just have to listen.
So how would you define failure, and what maybe one or two lessons that you've learned from failures and challenges?
And I don't know if failure's the word, because I feel like failure is what helped me get to where I am now. I feel like that year or two
come in. People wanting to look at the arts, but I'm listening. We're gonna finish. We're gonna finish in this corner. Right here. Introduce yourself.
Hi, Emmanuel Gillespie. Hi, I'm Emmanuel Gillespie.
And this is his stuff here.
He's
in the shot.
Series.
He's in the shot. But we'll get him out of the way. We're gonna borrow this space for a minute. And now we're changing the background yet one more time. I did that.
I love it. I love it. We got him.
I do it because these people are so cool, and they, so anyways, I don't want to know anything.
You're
else
so
rude.
funny.
Get out the way.
I love it.
Failure and challenges. So, what word would you replace it? What lessons have you gained from
I just think it's change. I think it's change and growth and movement, and everything that happens in this universe and in life, it's for a reason. Whether it's hard or not, or it helps. And it's, I think it's just part of this divine plan. And I know that maybe sounds cliche, but I think things happen the way they do to get to where you're supposed to be. And you just got to surrender to it, and you keep moving. Like, consistency is the word. I am telling you, you just keep going. And a lot of posts.
She's really good on social media. So I'll put a link below of what she's doing, And Pencils on Paper Gallery, you can look it up.
Yeah.
What inspires you, or what book or person is kind of like mentored you from a distance?
I know. Oh my gosh, y'all, when I tell you my small cohort of women that have supported me, like Cheryl Green, Vicki Meek, Diane Miles, oh my gosh, Rosalind Walker, all of these women that have been so instrumental in just seeing me thrive.
Yeah.
That's it. And so I'm hoping I could do that for artists along the way and be that conduit to the next level. Yeah. And that's why I do what I do. I wouldn't be here without the women that have helped me along the way. I would not. Oh.
Now, since you're involved in art, what's either a favorite medium, a favorite artist, or maybe just a particular piece?
Yeah.
There's a piece at the Amon Carter, and it's wrapped oranges. And it's a small realism.
I know, it's so good.
So that's one of my favorite paintings.
Oh my gosh.
I introduced my daughter to it years and years ago. Every year we go take pictures. But it just does something when I see the technique, but just experience it emotionally.
Yeah,
For me, it represents growth. It represents like investing in something long term, and how things change because we don't wrap oranges in wax anymore.
No, and people aren't painting that anymore.
Yeah.
They're not.
And so for me, that's what speaks to me.
That's cool.
And it's wrapped in this like real big gold frame.
Yeah.
So it says more than the painting is trying to say. Is there anything that does that for you? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I want to say 13, 14 when my middle school art teacher showed me a painting by Romare Bearden. It was a collage, and it was a city scene. Yeah. There were people on the streets, there are buildings in the background, and he cut up little pieces of paper to create it. And I remember seeing that
I'll
piece.
put it up right
here. Romare Bearden. Yeah. And
there you go.
I saw it, and it just changed my life. One, he was a black artist. I didn't know black people created art back then. I just didn't know. And two, there was the way, the technique that it didn't have to be paint. It didn't have to be paint.
What medium was it?
It was collage.
Oh,
it was a mixed media. Yeah. I want to say oil pastel, collage, paper, charcoal, a whole bunch of different things. Yeah. But changed my whole world on how I saw art. And I started collaging and started doing it too. But yes, it started with a teacher, an educator.
I love it. Okay, final thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
What do you want to leave the Feld Podcast audience with? Something positive, or maybe a quote?
I know.
It could be anything.
Y'all, I cannot stress it enough. You keep going. One of the things I love about Sam and what he's doing with this podcast, it's inspiring stories of just people who have come up, kept going, and they don't stop, and we keep doing what we're doing and hoping that it's changing lives and inspiring people, and just keep going.
Let me give you some flowers.
Oh yeah.
Look, your energy is so good.
Aww.
Like I just want to get some of that positivity. You're always happy. You got a big smile.
It's easy with you.
But I see you do it with so many people. Where did you get that? Is it new, or what is it? Where did it come from? Because I want to encourage people to be like a positive light wherever they go.
Yeah.
And that's what you do.
I mean,
so do your thing, but tell me why you do your thing.
The thing is, I this might be a whole nother podcast, but I've had some years that weren't like how they are now.
Got it.
So I think
people need to hear that.
Coming from the lowest low, and knowing what that is. Yeah. Now I'm living life and enjoying it and hoping that I could spread it how I can.
Yeah.
Times have been hard, but I kept
smiling
going.
Now.
I'm smiling now.
I love it.
But it's the power of art. Art did that for me. Art is the only reason why I am here. And some badass women.
There you go. Where can everyone find you?
Oh my gosh. Okay, on Instagram at Pencil on Paper Gallery, and online penciloonpapergallery.com.
There you go. I'll tag everything below.
Woo!
I'm about to give you a tour of everything that they're showing here at the Fort Worth Art Festival.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. It was a great talk. And we'll see y'all on the next one.
Yay.